Hello, people. Welcome to SketchCraft Live. Welcome to the White Room. Check this shit out, right? This is how crazy my room looks when I'm drawing. So I have 4,200 looms in this room. 4,200 looms. It recreates daylight perfectly no matter what time of day it is. So I don't have to worry about having dark spots. Actually, let me turn this on. That's better. So, joining me tonight to work on stuff is Benny Goodfinger. Ben, say hi.
What's up, guys?
So Mike's here, basically Mike. You're seeing me. Let me take Richard's thing off. So you're seeing me. You're going to see the screen here in a minute. Let me go to the Cintiq. So last time we met, I was working on Diablo. And I drew one up. I have scanned him in. I'm going to do the Copic color guide. But I didn't have time to set it up today. So today was I had to run and do a bunch of errands and some of that moving shit, you know. I have to take the DMV test to get a license in Idaho. So many things to do. So
they make you do that?
Yeah.
Just because you move states?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay,
and that doesn't even
weird.
include getting the license plates. That's just the driver's license. So that's fun. So on top of everything else, I have to deal with that too, you know. So that's my reference. So we'll go back to here now. I've scanned the pencils in at about 600 DPI. I'm going to scale it down here. And we're going to comp Senior Diablo up on this template and then print him back out and color him. So when you scan stuff in, I use the a Muztek 1200, Muztek, M-U-S-T-E-K. It's an 11 by 17 scanner. It's like $200. It's super cheap. And because it's super cheap, it has really fucked up color gamut. One of the little tricks I found that when you scan things in, you can mess with the colors forever. But usually in Photoshop, Photoshop has this great thing called auto color that actually fixes a lot of it for you. So I used to go here and slide the levels around and make duplicates. And one day I'm like, what if I just hit auto color? I was like, oh shit. Like, you know, like it worked. Sometimes these little things they make, you know, these little like automation things actually do indeed work. So then we're going to mask out the previous guide here. Let's use the nifty mouse here because I'm too lazy to grab my pen. So what are you up to tonight, Mike?
I am relaxing after a long day of finding out a specific client request was completely undoable because the person that requested it doesn't know how things work. So I'm going to be relaxing and talking to you and hanging out because today was kind of a waste. I mean, I learned a lot, but tomorrow I get to tell people that the client doesn't know what they're doing. So, you know, just hanging, having fun.
And hopefully they don't listen to the cast. So you can't get... you can't hear anything about it. I heard you talking shit, Mike.
I wish. Yeah. There's a few of them over there that need to reevaluate what they're doing and
they start
and
quoting Shakespeare like John Leguizamo would. You know, like I love that Cuban slant, dude. I do. I like the Romeo and Juliet remake. I like that little universe. I actually had when that movie came out, they actually had an interactive CD-ROM that you could get for that had all the guns up close and all the histories behind the Capulets and the Montagues in that
Oh yeah,
world.
that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, it was this whole bonus thing you could buy that was just like, before that was a thing. My friend's like,
Yeah.
really? I'm like, this is
Wow.
dope, dude. You can see all this stuff. I know.
Man, I haven't thought about that in years.
I didn't have a computer with the CD-ROM, so I had to take it to school and run it. But they're like, "Why are you looking at guns at school?" Like, now you can't do that.
Oh yeah, nowadays I would.
The teacher was like, "Oh, that's
my
pretty cool.
my
So it's
brother was
interactive."
called.
Like, I remember my teacher was way into the interactiveness of it because he was messing with HyperCard. Remember HyperCard? It's
Yep.
Mac tools before PowerPoint. So
Oh yeah. Oh man, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time.
all right, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna save a copy of this. This is my templates. So I'll come over here to. I haven't made a Diablo folder yet. Diablo.
Yeah, welcome to Rob's file folder life with hundreds of thousands of folders and everything. It's disgusting to look at. Too much.
So, I actually want to color a clean version of this. I want to color it with all the shade. I use the shade now as a guide rather than coloring over it. So, what I'm going to do is just quickly make a duplicate of these lines, and then I will take this, and we're going to do this little thing. Oh, first it's a little out of focus, so why don't we go ahead and go back to the original and focus that up a little bit. So really easy thing you can do when it's a little soft is go to unsharp mask. It's filter, sharpen, unsharp mask. And that gives you a nice sharpen. And I'll just hit Control F and duplicate it. Usually 2 times, 2 or 3 times. When it starts to look like gritty kitty litter like that, you want to step back one. That's pretty good. So I'll save that. Now I will make a duplicate. And I will go image, adjustments, hue. And we're going to select the red, and we're going to take the lightness and go all the way up. And then we're going to select the magenta, and we're going to take the lightness and go all the way up. And we're going to get the yellows. That's generally what happens. Get the yellows, and we go all the way up. And you can see how we magically get rid of all that red. So the pencils...
That's how you do that?
Yeah.
Are you a wizard? Seriously, that's how you do that?
Yeah. See how easy that is?
Wow, why use Photoshop? Jeez. Wow. Okay, man.
I know, it's very technical, right? So the pencils end up looking cool, the inks or whatever, because they're rendered, they got color on it, and I have a nice lighting or shading guide, but I can color a clean version. So then when we take that, we can go and usually I desaturate and try an auto contrast really quick. Nah, nothing. Sometimes you get a little extra out of that. If it seems a little faint around here, you can, sometimes I like to duplicate that, and you can just make a duplication. Sometimes you get a little faint, see? You can strengthen those lines a little bit, and then we'll just merge those down together. So, now, you can technically color this as is. I don't really do that though. What I do is I made up a template. As soon as Photoshop decides to open said template, okay, we'll move that.
Man, these are all dirty tricks.
And this is a hue saturation layer. So I'll drag this, put that over, and that tints my lines the way I want it to. Perfectly. And it makes these a little bit more fainter than I want them to. I can take that off if I want to. I can make them super dark if I want. So then I just take this and turn the opacity down, usually to 10%, sometimes 20%. Start with 20. Maybe I'll actually do that closer to 60%. And then if you want things to not have lines in them, what I do is you can paint white right over there, usually at 80%. Let's say, like, usually like on hair I'll do this. But let's say these horns, I want these to not have lines. I want them, as I color them, to kind of just become like texture, like, painted horns, it's probably a little faint. Let me take that closer to 50%. And so these back horns, I can push these in. You learning stuff, Mike?
I've moved my way around Photoshop, but but this is not like this is learned over time.
This is
People
10
that
years of
would,
t-shirts, bro. Like, do you have any
yeah,
idea?
the people that are getting this is like
This
they
is super
just
easy, too.
cut like 5 years off of their life because they're like, oh, I can just do this.
This is what I've tried to like teach Brandon over and over again. He's like, "We just keep moving so fast." I'm like, "This is really simple. You just turn the lines white, motherfucker." Like, you make a new like it is incredibly simple. It's just I guess you got to know how to do or
We
know
have
what
to
to do.
figure out
Yeah,
how to.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like it took you years of using this program and moving around it and stuff like that, um, to like find these little patterns, these little uh,
This
things
is
that
nothing, dude.
it's
You
good
should
at.
see. You should see. Like I said, what I've had to learn to do because of the t-shirts and cropping artwork and preparing it and cutting it up, doing
Oh
different
yeah, I'm
tricks.
I'm sure there's some
This
craziness in there, but to watch to have it be as simple as it is, like that's how you can tell it's taking time to develop. Because unfortunately, people don't put out like tutorials and stuff like this on YouTube. Be like, hey, ever wonder how to do this? This is how you do it.
Oh, let's go learn how to draw Dragon Ball Z faces. And I'll get like 300,000 views ahead, Just could draw some more Dragon Ball Z. Maybe people would care about you, motherfucker. I had one guy the
Oh
other
my,
day. He was being
I
nice.
get
He's like, I know you're looking for like people to sub. Maybe if you made sure all your hyperlinks worked because I've clicked on something and it didn't work. I'm like, I assure. Okay, one, they all work now, so I don't know what you're talking about. But two, I really don't think that's the problem. Like, it's just because it is that way. Like it is what it is. It's growing
yeah.
slowly and steadily over the years, and it will continue to do so. Um, so I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on what I don't got in life. I don't live in fucking Aleppo, so I'm doing pretty good. That's how I. But in terms of just like using Photoshop to do production work, that's why when people go, "Oh, wouldn't you use this program, that program?" I'm like, Photoshop is everything. And every time I do grab another program to go practice, it doesn't do what I can just do here. And I have the benefit of this is what killed me, like when I lost my career in t-shirts. I'm like, I know how to do so many things that even guys in t-shirts to this day don't know, or they're forgetting because they're being told to work in Illustrator and do everything vector.
Hmm.
And they're very limited in what they can do. That's why you ever notice all this vector shit looks the same? You can't
Yeah.
tell one dude from the next, can you? It looks cool, but it's all the same. People go, "This is only moss." Can't tell the fucking difference. Can't tell. I don't know. You know.
I mean, this kind of goes back to that conversation we were having regarding those different programs that people were suggesting that you were looking at.
Oh no
Where
no. We
is
had hold on. We had this conversation. I have not posted it yet because I went on the Idaho trip. And so
oh
if people
okay.
want to know what you're talking about, I'm gonna post this, folks. But one of the plugins that was suggested to me by a cool artist, his name is Jonathan Rector. I tried to have him on the podcast, but we kept getting our time screwed up, and I think he's mad at me, but it's a shame. He's a good artist. Anyways, he was suggesting to me a plugin that was all about flatting. It was a flatting pro plugin, and I've always had these problems with these programs that do the flats for you for a lot of reasons. So I installed the demo, and we made a video of me walking through it, doing the Battletoads piece, which, like I said, I will be posting uh, between now and next week sometime. It's just I have to actually with that video because it wasn't streamed. I have to process it, and my vid rig is on wireless, and the wireless card that came with the fucking system sucks. So I was only getting like 5 megabytes, you know, stream between computers. Um, and I don't have more cable. I can't keep running cable throughout. I have this thing. I'm not allowed to run cable throughout the house now. I can run it for one computer, this computer. Everything else has to be wireless. You know, happy wife, happy life, right? So, uh, I finally got a 5 gigahertz antenna card for that computer that worked because a lot of them didn't. And so now I can transfer the files because I don't like plugging in hard drives and unplugging them all the time. Every time I do, I've lost hard drives that way. You know, you keep ejecting them. So I'll get that video up and you can watch Mike and I use the fucking flatting software and just be
It is amazing.
confused. Yeah.
It's so amazing, guys. The image that he created using that software is so psychedelically beautiful that is my background at work. Because it takes every, what is it, like zero value spot and just assigns it a color.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's just psychedelic and Battletoads. So I kept it and I put it up at work, and people still ask me about it to this day. It's totally worth a watch. It's pretty funny.
Alrighty. So that's good. I probably don't need to do this on the horns. I'm just like, well, whatever. We'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, I can take it off. I'm just gonna make the Copic color guy now, so I can test to see if that works. If I like it, if I don't like it, then I can just. Matter of fact, I can test it probably a smarter way, and that's take half of these and don't do half of them. So rather than erase it, I'll just mask this out. So if I want to keep it, I still have the information. So I'll keep these over here so I know what they look like when I color them in. This is why we always just do a test, folks. And I can take this. I'll make that.
So are you lighting them up for the print so that when you color them, they'll have different values? Or
They'll be
did I
lighter.
miss something
They'll
while
be
you were explaining?
lighter.
Oh, okay.
All right. They'll be lighter. So you'll see. So when I paint over them, they'll have the shape of a horn, not the lines. Does that make sense?
Oh,
They'll be
okay.
fainter
Yeah,
on the
there you go.
page. Same with like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. So I do it on the hair now, so the hairs don't have the line. I can add lines on the hair where I want to, but I leave them open so I can render as much of the hair. And if it looks really good feathered, and it's just a preference. So let me grab some marker paper and put it in the printer. I can print out a test copy. Okay, you go right there.
Did you set up the new room so you can like rotate from the chair and put the paper in the printer and without having to?
Yeah, but this headset, the cord is just a slight tad shorter than I had planned it on being.
Is it USB?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you an extension.
Yeah, but I need like literally 12 inches. I don't need a long one.
I can probably find a 1 foot
Yeah,
male female.
that's what I need. So, save a copy of that. So I like to draw things big when I have the time. So in this case, I drew him at 11 by 14 because it scales proportionally to 11 by 4. I'm sorry, I drew him at 11 by 14 because it scales proportionally to 8.5 by 11. So the commission gets colored at 8.5 by 11. But that way I can put a lot more detail in, and then in the lines than I could if it were at 8.5 by 11.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
So I found that it takes me almost the same amount of time, but it looks better, bigger when you draw it. So let's see here. Letter, so only letter scale. I need just regular letter. And then I'm going to print this standard. Okay. And we're not going to scale 100. And if that's 98. Okay. And then we'll hit print.
Have you done any kind of walkthroughs on printing practices like this?
Yeah, it's in the art tips. Art
Oh,
tips playlist. How to print your Copic line
I know.
arts.
I'm sorry, I don't watch all of your stuff.
You know? Yeah, I have a whole channel called SketchCraft on the YouTube, Mike. And
Is that where I can see your stuff at?
yeah, that's quite amazing. And there's a playlist called Art Tips. There's all sorts of tips. And if there's something specific in there that I'm missing or didn't, clarify enough, go watch the video and then, on the printing. And if I miss them, then I'll make another one. I'll make a companion. I can link them up and shit. Okay. Thank you, printer, for not recognizing that this is 8.5 by 11 paper. It printed it at 11 by 14. Why did it do
So,
that?
so what the people don't know is Rob is cursed when it comes to anything regarding technology.
Oh, you don't even know. So today I logged into
So here it
I
goes.
logged into YouTube, and all of a sudden in the YouTube videos and my video manager, it it you can't see the videos. It like you see it and then it goes away. Like and it's not just my card, like it's multiple computers. Wonder what's going on
So
here.
it's just not displaying your content?
It's there. Like hold on. Like I'll show people, right? So this is let me bring this up so you can check it out. So I'll bring up the My Channel and we'll go in the Video Manager. So this is what the Video Manager looks like, right? And if I want to edit if I click Edit, like if I just click on this and open the video new tab, you can see the video just fine,
Hold on a
right?
second, I'm still on a delay.
Yeah. You'll see what I'm talking about. You can see the video just fine when I do that. If I click Edit, watch what happens. Boom, gone. But it's frosted way back there. That just started today. I've never seen that before. I don't know what that is. And I'm not looking it up. I'm just dealing with it.
Whoa.
Explain to me what that, and it's not ad block or anything like that. I installed all extensions and I did all that shit. I'm like, I don't got time for this. I'm just, eventually it'll work itself out.
Well, if I was over there and I had some of my tools on me, I could definitely tell you what was happening.
Yeah, I just don't care.
But it's just a YouTube bug.
It's a bug.
Oh, that's definitely a bug.
Alrighty. So the lighter areas need to be cranked up from 50% to 80%. That's what I thought. 80%. So you guys will see this in a second. Just let me print this out. Let's go. Let's go to 70 actually. 70%. Alrighty, I'll save that. Try to use scrap paper before I use the marker paper. So I got this cheap copy paper. I'll throw this on there. What, I lose mic or something?
Huh? What? No, I'm here.
Oh, you're doing push to talk. That's on you, bro.
I'm just saying.
Let's reprint this.
Basically, Mars playing Batman in the background, and I don't know how much this mic picks up because this mic picks up everything. So I don't want background noise of a bunch of Batman stuff. So I'm just doing push talk.
But like the shading with the pencils. Like I used to just scan the black and whites in and do a quick Photoshop shade, But that was taking the... sometimes it would take the same amount of time. It would be just to manually shade it while I drew, And I was like, if I just do the shading while I draw, then these pencils look better, I just use a colored... I use the colored mechanical lead so I can get rid of the color when you scan it in. That's why people are like, you print it out blue or red. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Photoshop, you just select the color and take the lightness all the way up. And it doesn't matter. You could use fucking fuchsia. You know, puce.
You
You can use,
should.
yeah, you can use salmon green or whatever. Like, it's irrelevant, you know? All right, so 70% will be more than enough. Maybe. Maybe closer to 60, 63. All right, I'm going to roll with that, and we're going to do the Copic test right now. No matter what, sucker.
We're going live.
We're doing live.
We're doing it live.
Doing it live. Now. Now.
I had to do that today. Walked in, I was like, we're doing it live. Put my laptop down. Some other dude's desk. I don't care about you right now. We're doing this.
So sometimes people go, how long is that one going to take? I don't know. You know, like, if everything goes right, it could take a certain amount of time. If nothing goes right, and if the printer don't want to work, or it starts printing things out at 11 by 17, even though it's selected 8.5 by 11, I don't know. You know? Sometimes it can take 2 hours just to get it right for no reason when it worked perfectly fine the 20 versions before that, you know? Like right now, it just printed things out all fucked up. I cannot explain this.
Like just now?
Yeah, just now. I got the 2 demo ones look perfectly, and then when I go
know
to...
why it's happening. I mean, you can sit and live in denial all you want.
let me go. All right.
I'm not kidding you guys. Here. He is cursed.
Yeah, I'm cursed. So, sometimes when you're like, oh, Rob said he'd be on in 15 minutes, and then it's like 3 hours. I'm like, yeah, this is what I was doing. Just trying to get this right.
Eventually it will work.
All right. Give me a second.
Well, I guess it's just us now. What's up, folks? Oh, nobody's in chat. I'm also not that entertaining.
Yeah, it's slightly annoying to do this with my headset.
Hey, Rob's back.
So it's just run out of some ink. I just missed it by 1 printout, you know?
Ink?
Yeah, some ink ran out.
Oh, God, are you serious?
I know, yeah. It happens.
Is it an inkjet or a laserjet?
It's inkjet.
It's 2016. Why are we still dealing with this?
Because lasers cost too much. You know, make a 11 by 17 laser you can buy at home in color.
Well, you can, but they're like $900, right?
No, they're like $9,000.
What?
Yeah.
I thought laser was at least kind of affordable at this point.
Yellow, magenta. And I don't need laser inks. I like the dye-based water anyhow because they blend with Copic markers. Lasers will be like carbon. You wouldn't be able to do anything with it. Red is good, so black, magenta, and yellow. Let's see. That's black. Oh, I have the black. No magenta.
Are you just sifting through ink cartridges for...
I should have plenty of extras, but I might...
I'm sure you do.
I might be short. I should have magenta and yellow, though. They may be in another box. Give me 1 second.
Check. Switch the colors up. Let's do this.
Yeah. No, you can't. It won't let you. It knows which one's what.
Oh.
Yeah, so like when I'm doing like commissions on a month, I'm like, oh, I got 4 slots. Half of that money is just going to keeping extra supplies lying around. So I could tell you I'm gonna have to buy some more ink.
So you have like a nursing aid for the printer that you beat unmercilessly.
It's taken me years, but I have, a very few amount of supplies when you really think about it. That's why I got the Copics down to, however many
Yeah,
colors those are.
that is true.
I have a very limited colors I use. I have very limited amounts of paint colors that I use. The paper that I'm using is not difficult. It's like the B marker paper and then copy paper, or cardstock, copy cardstock. It's not even. And then
Ash in the chat just asked, "What type of printer do you use?"
this is a Canon Pixma Pro, or whatever variation of the Pixma series. Every year they come with a new one. So if you try to get them new on Amazon, they'll run you like $600 something, but you can get them refurbished, quote unquote, for $249. And what they are brand new. People just take the UPC codes and get these rebates, and so you can save half the money just by doing that. So I need to buy another set. And then what I do is I just buy cheap secondhand inks, which will eventually kill your print head. The print heads are about $150, and if they don't make the print anymore, you got to get a new printer. But that usually is about 2 or 3 years, sometimes 4. I've only had to do it once, but I make my money back. So if you don't sell your art, it's all good motivation to keep selling shit. Essentially, any way you can, even if it's for $10, just keep selling it, saving the money, put the money back in your supplies, and then getting better and better, and then charging more for your art as you go along to pay for all this shit. And then after 4 or 5 years of doing that, it will work.
Put the time in, guys.
That's why when Brandon doesn't do shit, he keeps putting it off, like practicing his lines or perspective. I'm like, every day you don't do it, you think you've just missed a day. Just assume you've missed a week.
It's like sleep deprivation, man. Like, it stacks.
Yeah, 1 hour of missing sleep is more like 6 hours, really. Or 4 hours of missing sleep.
Yeah.
It's not a 1-to-1.
Oh, potato.
So when I was telling him yeah, you'll use these commissions to pay for this, he's taking forever now. I did the fucking. I'm doing the base art. You have all you have to do is complete the drawing. Why is it taking you longer now than if you had just, why? And I didn't tell him. I said, because deep down in your little fucking, I don't want to say your little brain like I'm being an asshole, but deep down in your fucking brain, your little ego is mad that you didn't figure it out, and it wants to fail.
Oh, yeah,
I guarantee it, dude. It's like this, it's not really my art. It's like you have no art. Your art doesn't sell. It used to your friends, and now your friends don't buy your art because they've bought your art. They've moving on. Now we're going to you don't get to make decisions. You just do what I tell you to do every fucking day. The guy is super responsible. He holds down jobs. He runs. He does all this complicated. But then he gets to be an artist, and it's like talking to 13-year-old Brandon. So I don't like talking to 13-year-old Brandon.
Well, it's kind of like a hangover. The position is when you're working, you have specific things. That's how you make money. Like specifically how you make money, and then you have side things that are not as drastically pending. A great example is at my work. We have little side projects that we do for fun that we can do for the office or stuff like that, like the arcade cabinet. That's taken longer because we dedicate our time to specifically what we have to do, and if we get busy and everything. So it's harder for us to dedicate the time to do something that's not, mission critical. So I'm guessing that's where he's coming from, where it's like, in his mind, he doesn't see it as important as the thing that gives him a paycheck. But that's just my guess.
I don't know, man. It's all weird, It's weird to me. And more to the point, I just don't care. So I told him, I said, look, here's the thing. You cannot do all this stuff. You know what I mean? It's perfectly acceptable for none of this to get done, You just can't do it with me. You just can't sit here and waste my time. Just go off and do whatever you want to do. I don't give a shit. But don't say you're gonna do it and then not do it. You know? No, I got no time for that. Oh, what, the black ink doesn't want to print now?
And so it begins. What's up, Trey? Trey says hi in the chat.
Oh, I think these are the black ink sets they sent me that were wrong.
What, from the last time?
They sent me some that were wrong, and I had to get them resent. I don't think I threw them away.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think that's what these are.
That was a while ago.
I know, but I moved, so... Let's see how that works. Well, the light went on, so that's always a good sign. So... I'll have to buy
Is
some
it
new...
red, orange,
It lights
yellow,
up
or
red.
green?
Red is good.
It lights up red is good?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. You want red.
What the hell, Canon?
Like, this is the show, folks. It's just me sitting here like, I wonder if this printer will work tonight. That's Rob's night. I'm not staying up till 3 in the morning. I have a time limit, so we can just be doing this for 3 hours. This is the cast where I just sat here and you heard the sounds of my printer
I
deciding.
got an idea. Why don't we have them ask us questions while we sit and wait for your printer?
Well, they can ask questions whenever they want. It's chat room.
Well, I mean, I know, but like
You got a monitor. I can't even see the chat room right now. So.
Well, and I'm monitoring it for you.
Thank you.
So Trey says, "What's new?"
Trying to print stuff on the printer. Trying to get this Copic guide done.
Ash says, "Best podcast ever."
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
no. Best podcast ever. The struggle is real.
It never ends. The
If you're
struggle
up
never.
playing us.
Struggle never. You should see the stuff I don't stream. You know.
Yeah, you should hear some of the stuff that we talk about that doesn't end up online.
Yeah.
Good times.
As much as I run the camera or just keep things recording, it's like the things I don't. I'm like, it just people at some point would think like he's just doing this to get, woe is me,
Absolutely not.
I'm like, no.
Can you do his podcast in 3D?
They don't make 3D webcam to hook up to your.
Is that a thing?
No, they have the 3D cameras, and then they have the 360
this
camera.
podcast.
This one, I'm not getting a dual camera setup for this shit. Keep it low tech. I bought these cameras 3 years ago, and they're gonna sit there until they stop working.
Oh, everybody's participating now. Let's see, Johnny says, Pixel Mike, are all these Blizzard pieces commissioned by one guy?
All these Blizzard pieces? No. Oh, I guess there are more than one, right? So there's the Overwatch one I got to finish. That's a different guy. That's David. And then this Diablo was Josh White, who might be chatting away. He was in the chat room during the Star Wars. So that's separate. Now, the Overwatch one was weird because he wanted to commission... I was drawing that April for test, the April with the plushies, as a test piece that I was eventually going to use in Game Cave, not Volume 1, but later. I was like, well, I can do a test, but in my mind, I was like, I can do the test because I'm going to use this art later. Whatever. He saw that and was like, can I get something like that with Overwatch? I'm like, yeah, but I'm not coloring that shit with Copics. He's like, all right, that's cool. So charge him a certain amount of money. Then he's like, it'd really great to get some of that in Copics. I'm like, it's impossible. I can do the main character, but this thing has to be in, like, there can only be so many. So then I had only so many characters. But then everyone's like, you forgot my favorite character. I'm like, it just printed nothing. So then I had to go and add all the fucking Overwatch plushies. You know what I mean? And then that has to, it's turned into a fucking nightmare, dude. The whole piece. It's gonna get done. But, okay, this just printed nothing. Like, it's totally blank.
Keep working on it. Trey says, what was your hardest project?
My hardest project. The hardest project I've ever had to do, or the hardest commission?
Yeah, can we define that? Trey, hardest project or hardest commission?
He'll be like, both. I'll be here all
night. I know, why not both?
I'll just depress myself. Pick one.
Let's see.
Let me do
sure he's going to respond in a second. Because I imagine projects probably Game Cave, but commission, I have no idea.
Commission-wise? Oh, it's easy as
Commission
that.
wise, let me think.
No, Game Cave isn't the hardest thing. I mean, it's complicated, but it's not. It's annoying that every time I start Game Cave, some life-altering fucking event occurs. Put it that way. That's kind of been the problem with Game Cave. It isn't actually doing it, which is tricky enough. The things that I've done that allow me to be able to make Game Cave were the hardest things I've ever done
All
creatively.
right. So hardest project.
Hardest
Hardest
project.
project.
Game
Yeah.
Cave issue one. Game fan issue one.
Game fan issue one. Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, game fan issue one.
So what happened to game fan issue one? What made that really difficult?
Because I never intended to make a magazine. I wasn't brought on to do that. Play went out of business overnight, literally overnight. I couldn't pay any of my bills, couldn't pay my student loans. I'd always been paying everything. I'd always made money. It's the first time in my entire life, except when I was right before I joined the army when I had no job. It's the first time in my entire life I wasn't earning a paycheck since I was even before I was a teenager. I was working for my father. So anyhow, Dave wanted to relaunch quickly Game Fan, and the problem he was having was that kind of Game Fan aesthetic where you have tons of screens and the pages are rendered. The guy that would make Play, if you ever saw Play, they sort of helped usher in that minimal style that's popular now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, solid color, Helvetica font, sans serif font, techno font, sans serif font, big picture. Well, GameFan didn't look like that, so Dave wanted to make GameFan. Problem was, everyone at GameFan made their own layouts. When they were making GameFan back in the 90s, every editor would write their thing and make their own layout. Not one person was doing the whole magazine. There's so many screens, it's impossible. So they have to capture their own screens while they played, write their thing, and they make their little layout. That's why every layout looked crazy, you know. And then the guys who got better at it did more of them, and the guys who weren't good at it just didn't do shit or moved on. The guy that had made Play couldn't do it, and there wasn't a lot of money going around, which Dave didn't tell me at the time. He told me, he's like, "Oh, this guy can't hack it." I'm like, "All right, I guess." So the idea was that they would lay it out like Play, hand it to me, and I would reskin it, like I'd airbrush over it in Photoshop, and I did a couple tests using Bayonetta and stuff like that,
Yep.
and it worked. But then I thought that's what we're gonna do. So then he was like, "Oh, the guy quit. Can you make the magazine?" I'm like, "I don't know anything about making magazines. Like, I've never even opened up. I opened up InDesign once in college to lay out my resume, and was like, nope, never doing that again." So, well, that's interesting. So what was I gonna say? So I had to figure out how to use InDesign, how to use Photoshop with InDesign, how to. I had no screens, no assets. Like Dave would give me a press release link to a video game, say like Mario Galaxy 2 was in Game Fan
Mm-hmm.
issue 1, right? 2010. They'd give me a press release link. It would have 5 screens and they'd be 480p because it was on the Wii. And I'm
Okay.
like, I can't print that. The magazine was the size of Rolling Stone, you know? So,
And you have 40p.
so I had to figure out all sorts of tricks between gathering screens, using Dolphin emulation to get high res screens, which Nintendo hated because they were like, "What games don't look this good? You're just fall asleep." And I'm like, "Don't worry, no one's reading the magazine anyway." Like, I just didn't give a shit. They weren't buying ads, so anyone who wasn't buying an ad, I didn't care what they thought. Um, I had to grab high res videos that they would make. They'd make a 1080p trailer. If you export those frames from QuickTime using QuickTime Pro, I bought QuickTime Pro. If you export those frames, those would be more high res than the actual screenshots they'd send you.
Wow.
And so then I started to be able to. So every game I'd have, gigs of. I'd have to have just an asset collection for each game, and then I'd have to start the layout way before they even started writing it. And then I had to figure out the fonts, the kerning. This is all within a month, dude. And then they decided for some reason to make the magazine a flip book. So on the backside, it was going to be a movie magazine. And I was told that I had nothing to do with that. Well, they
Guess
didn't get
what?
it. Guess what? They didn't get it done, and they needed a movie magazine layout. And all I had was, I guess I'll just make Play, and I just made these giant 3D fonts. So it was like posters. They had a section called Poster Patrol, where they were going to like put up the posters and rate them. The guy gave me 19 kilobyte files off the internet for that, you know?
For posters.
And I was like, I can't use any of this shit. So I had to go and invent that issue. And then when it came out, NeoGaf ripped it to shreds. Looks like shit. Ex-employees, like the ex-graphic designer who was on there was like, fucking Rob thinks he's a graphic designer now. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. You know, like, there were whole threads just devoted, you know, to hating everything about it. And I was just trying to pay my rent. You know what I mean? I just need to I was like Winston Zedmore, you know? I'm like, I just, you know, there's a steady paycheck and I'll fucking lay out anything you want. So making Game Fan all by myself, dude, Game Fan was just the hardest thing I ever had to do. I figured out how to do it by the third issue. I kept quitting. Matter of fact, on the first issue, I'm like, it cannot be done.
Yeah.
You know, I actually told my wife, I'm like, I mean, many times I sat on the couch going, it cannot be done by one person. Now I look at it, I bring these things in anytime I have a job interview. People just look at, you did all this? I'm like, yeah, yeah. I can only do 4 of them a year. There's a
I
limit.
mean, yeah, it takes time, guys.
There's a limit. So, but that was because, and I was living off donuts. Like I couldn't sleep. So what I would do when I would buy a dozen donuts and I would eat 1 or 2 and I'd leave the box there. And anytime I started to get tired, I'd just take a bite or 2 of the donut until I felt the sugar rush and then I would just keep working. You know?
There you go. I mean, shit.
You know? And I didn't get paid very much. I was supposed to make $5,000 a month. And when an issue printed, they would send me a check for like $1,500.
Wow.
And then that would have to last me 3 months.
Yeah, I was
For the
gonna
next
say,
one.
yeah, if you're doing.
And they didn't even pay me for the 7th issue when I quit. That's when I was like, they didn't pay me. I actually quit before the 7th issue, and they needed me to do it. I said, okay, I'll do this, but you know, I'm out after this. And they just because I wasn't going to be around, they felt like classic Trumpian fucking bullshit, right? Like, whoa, he's not going to be around. He doesn't need the money. We need the money. I eventually got like a phone call with Dave's wife crying and apologizing months after because it had no, as much as like, you know, the guys working there, Wesley took over for an issue too after that, and you know, some people stuck around, tried to make it happen. I pretty much made everything. I was like making everything and seeing no benefit to this. The only benefit I had was that I was able to go to E3 for the unveiling of the 3DS and the Wii U. So I was in the Nintendo house. So I got to see Miyamoto up close, you know. I got to see Iwata, Reggie, you know. I had the giant symphony that was playing, you know, Zelda Music Live with Miyamoto conducting them. Like, so
Yeah,
those
so
are like,
it wasn't all bad.
there's 2 or 3 good moments, and everything else was absolute horror.
In years
Yeah.
of shit.
It was absolute horror. It was the first time I became a starving artist. I couldn't buy oranges one day. I quit when my wife went to the store and we are card bounced buying a bag of Clementine cuties. You know? And that's when I quit.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can't do it anymore, guys. I have to go back
yeah.
to t-shirts. I've stuck it out. You know? I've done everything I can do. So Game Cave in a way was me trying to make money back on all that knowledge I have. The problem is, you know, you run into this problem where, you know, if you say you're going to make a game magazine, people want subscriptions. And you run into all these other issues. And I'm like, I don't want to make a magazine where there's subscriptions or I have to do anything timely. Or I can do something if I want to. If I want to do retro. And it all has to make sense. And so, you know, I remember showing Dave Game Cave a couple years ago. He was like, but you only raised like 13,000. That's nothing. I'm like, Dave, that's not the amount of money I raised. Here's what I'm making. And he was just like, well, you should be making stuff for me. I'm like, well, you should fucking pay me. I think I did the math. I did the math on all the money I wasn't owed. If you say, I was told I was going to make $5,000 a month starting May 2010. So from May 2010 to November 2011, I had been paid 6 times, $1,800 maximum each. Let's say $2,000. I'll round it up. So $2,000 times 6 is how much? $12,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a high end. Let's say it's $12,000 in 18 months, almost 2 years. You know, almost because I started working in January 2010, so it's definitely about 2 years. So
Yeah, so you could buy like cans of beans.
so let's say 18 minus 6, right? Is what is that? Was that 12? That's 12.
Mm-hmm.
Take 12, multiply that by 5. That's about $60,000.
Yep.
I'm at least owed, not including all the shit I did for Girls, a Gaming Magazine, which I wasn't paid for, not including all the stuff for his video game, which I wasn't paid for. He paid me some money from the video game, but he didn't pay me for when he would pay me for the video game stuff I was doing because he's making this game. When he paid me for that, he wouldn't pay me for Game Fan. He's like, "Oh, well, we just paid you." I'm like, "That was for this. Like, that wasn't for the fucking."
So is Dave a good guy or kind of a?
He was, and he slowly devolved into
No, it's a shame.
a guy who just couldn't roll with the times, you know.
That sucks.
So let me try, okay, printing this one more time. This
I
is
will
what
be
it's
right
turned into.
back.
I just tried to print this, and it's turned into like me ranting about Game Fan for 2 hours.
That's fine. That's fine. We have to talk about something. So I will be right back.
If you guys want to know the full story, in the podcast playlist, there's a thing called Podcast Archive. This all used to be an audio podcast on iTunes. I did, which I started during my Game Fan time because I was going crazy. But I did a Goodbye Game Fan episode. Goodbye Game Fan. Should listen to that if you want to get more. And I'm nicer in that story probably. But okay, why is it not printing? It's not printing the magentas. What? I don't understand. This is a new problem. I've never had this problem before. Let me turn the printer off and turn it back on. Maybe that's it. The print heads could be dying. And if that's the case, then I'm really fucked. Because I don't need that to happen right now. Like, I've had to spend way too much on this move. Buying things that I didn't know I'd have to buy, like fixing my Cintiq and rebuying a headset and buying a new modem. I've probably spent $1,000 on unnecessary purchases for the move. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Nintendo console tomorrow night, Ash. That's why we're specifically not talking about it right now. So tomorrow night will be a gaming cast. We'll have Wesley and Ashley on, and Mike's going to come on, and we're all going to chat about that. Is there a specific artist that I look up to? Not really. I'm past that stage. You know, I admire. I mean, the things that I get into these days are like people who direct movies or like chefs. You know, when it comes to artists, I don't really. I mean, I have people I grew up with and I'm a fan of. Like even I'm older now, but even like the what's her Arakawa, whoever created the woman that created Full Metal Alchemist. She's awesome. But I don't really. I guess I've met everyone I've ever wanted to meet in comics. Growing up going to Comic Con, so I don't really like worship that person's so amazing. Like I don't. Doesn't really. Why is it not printing? I appreciate, 2D animation, things like that. I know that shit's incredibly. See, it's not printing anything from the CMYK category. I do not
All right, I'm
understand
back.
that.
What's going on?
It's not printing CMYK.
At all?
It's printing the other green, red, photo magenta,
What
and even the
RGB?
red's printing like orange. It's not. It's
So
fairly
it's printing RGB only?
sort of. I've never seen this issue before.
Well, it is you.
I'm gonna get another 5 minutes and then just hang up the cast and call this one a bus and figure this shit out because I don't understand
Okay.
what's going on, dude. I just wanted to do, I just wanted all I wanted to do, man.
Dude,
You
this
know,
is me today. This is me today for about 3 hours. I had one simple task, and at the very end of it, I found out there was no way it would ever work, and the person that asked me to do it didn't know that it would never work because they don't know how to do their fucking job. So I know exactly how you're feeling right now. I had to work with 2 different people to eventually figure out it just doesn't work.
it's a printer plugged in. Yes, it's printing the other 6 colors. Cute, Kyle. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is weird.
So is it just printing RGB even though like
And it turned.
the other
Why is the
ones?
printer off? The printer is now dead. Give me a second.
No, I'll keep him company, guys. So while Rob's gone, I have no idea how many of you know who I am, but do you have any questions? Maybe reboot the ink modem with more RAM. Nice. Glad Rob didn't see that because he had to buy a new modem when he moved to Idaho. So, who am I? I'm one of Rob's friends we met 4 years ago. He was streaming, and we would jump on chat and talk to him, and then we ended up talking more and talking more and talking more, and became buddies. So I'm a dude who's a software tester in Seattle that talks to Rob, who used to live in San Diego and now lives in Idaho, and he's an hour ahead. Ah, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, I've been on the cast for a couple years now, on and off. Brandon is here more often than I am, just because my work's a little more complicated than his, lead heavy. But yeah, I'm just one of Rob's buddies. We like to hang out because we like to laugh a lot, crack jokes. We will be doing a cast tomorrow regarding the Nintendo announcement. That's why we're not talking about it now, just so you guys know. Any other questions? Yeah, that was the plan. Was tomorrow night we would do the software tester in Seattle. Yeah. Yeah, when he was working for the t-shirt company, they flew him up here for a day, so I picked him up at the airport and drove him around. What's my favorite movie? Ooh, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. That's a toughie. Can we go genre? I work a lot these days. I work and I come home and talk to Rob or play video games, something like that. Trey, if you can go genre, comedy, favorite comedy. Ooh. I Love You Man's pretty up there. There's a couple of Kevin Smith movies. No, not my. I mean, I can appreciate Monty Python, but that's kind of older school comedy. It's fantastic. What killed me is I worked in improv theater for 3 years, so it takes a lot more for me to laugh because, I mean, you can watch Whose Lines anyways, and you'll either laugh or you won't. But you get that true comedy, that true laughter. It's a lot harder for staged laughter or scripted laughter to make you laugh. And Monty Python's funny, but as far as favorite comedies, well, okay, a comedy that's it's not a movie that will consistently get me to laugh is The League on Netflix. Hey, what's
Well,
up, Rob?
it officially won't turn on now.
Oh, don't come on, seriously?
Dead serious, man.
Your printer just died.
It literally just died.
Why is this happening?
This is my wife doesn't want to hear this. You know what I
Don't
mean?
tell her.
Well, what am I have to get a printer, bro.
How much does it cost? We've done this before under the radar. Let's go.
I can't do it under. I spent all my under the radar money. Spent all my under the.
Do you have the chat up at all? Yet? No?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, there you go.
This is so annoying. My buddy Joe's like, "Oh, you just keep that printer, man. You know, hook you up. Like it's dead. Thanks." Pixma Pro. What are we looking at? Wireless.
I do love Groundhog Day and Scary Movie 2. Those are actually some of my favorites. Oh, snap. Kyle said, should I order your printer and trade for another commish?
We could do that.
Oh, there you go, Kyle.
Whatever you want to do, man. I'm willing to trade at this point.
As long as you order it right now.
Yeah, I
and
gotta
do
order
overnight
it
shipping.
as soon as humanly possible because I cannot do
He
anything right
will
now.
draw you anything that's maybe 11 by 17.
I'm gonna have to work digitally. Well, at least I have this backup. If I didn't have this backup Cintiq, right now the studio would be officially like, well, I can sketch.
Dude, with the backup
I can
Cintiq on the
sketch.
printer.
Want to do $10 sketches?
You're gonna be on a street corner. Hey, let me sketch something for you. Give me $10.
This is so funny, bro. I've never.
Uh,
Hey, man, we captured it all, man. We did it live.
We're doing it live.
SketchCraft live, huh?
Yeah, and you guys are all here for it.
It started off so promising. You see how like the series of I blame talking about Game Fan. Like it cannot be a coincidence that as I brought up the worst thing of my life, the fucking printer starts printing, all the ink runs out, and then it won't print the right ink, and now it's dead. I'm not
Oh,
surprised.
goodness.
It's what? How old is this one? It's been 3 years. They last 3 to 4
Was
years.
that the one that you got when we started talking?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it would be three and a half.
yeah. Oh gosh.
Jesus
Let's
Christ.
see. What do we got here? He says there's one on B&H. Let's see.
What the hell is B&H?
It's like an Amazon electronics kind of thing. They start off doing photography mostly, but you can get all sorts of stuff there. I bought one of my Cintiqs there.
Oh, any update on the 22?
No,
Of course not.
I'll call.
Jesus Christ.
So the she's not gonna like this.
All right, let me look around. Where's it? All right, well, now that you're searching for stuff, you guys skateboard. I used to skateboard. Did you ever skateboard, Rob?
No, man. Nothing. Anything that can break my hand, I don't do. I don't even bowl anymore.
That's good thought.
Yeah, it's not responsible. So they got the Pro 100 with the rebate. Now I don't have this conversation.
Send me the link. Send me the link.
She's gonna kill me, bro.
Send me the link.
You should have seen the look on her face when I was like, so the Cintiq broke, and she's like, you could just see the money in her eyes.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, just draining out of her skull.
Yeah, I can't blame her, you know. But
You told me, and I was like, oh god.
like I said, dude,
Considering,
I just spent all of the commission money minus yeah, so I have the shipping money for the commissions, but the actual money for all it went just to rebuy everything. The Cintiq repairs, the headsets, the USB things I had because I had remember that USB thing
yeah,
fried and killed all the
yeah,
headsets.
yep, all
Then
had to be replaced.
then the modem, then all the fucking shit that went with that. At least the fucking scanner's working. Like knock on fucking
Shush,
wood.
shush. Don't even say those words. Don't knock on wood. Is there wood around your house? Knock on it.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not doing this
so
right now.
you know, like whatever, dude. I mean,
Like at least the computer works, and it's like boo.
like I wish you weren't asleep. I'm not gonna wake her up for this one, but it's just like I did make meatloaf tonight, so I'm standing on good ground. Like,
All right. I gotta give me. I'll be right back. Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna mute. Hold on.
Oh, everybody, what fun! All right, folks, that's all I can do for now. It's already 11:32, so I gotta work this printer thing out. In the meantime, tomorrow I will reconvene and figure out what digital shit can be done. I can't even work on the fucking Final Fantasy because I need to print those out. Um, there's a One Punch Man, and I can do Rick and Morty. So I guess I'll just bump Kyle's stuff up and get that colored. Um, I gotta sit down and write a game plan. So we'll give Mike a couple minutes here, and then I'm gonna sign off. So if anyone else has any questions, now's the time. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Best Tony Hawk game, by the way. The one on the GameCube was my favorite, actually. I had that level editor. That was fun. Not my favorite skateboarding game, but my favorite Tony Hawk game. My favorite skateboarding game is Amped 2 on Xbox, the original Xbox. I played that until the server shut down. I was there that night. Me on the slope by myself, and then one other guy appeared. And he's like, "Oh my god, you like this game?" I'm like, "I like this game." We're the only guys on the servers when they shut it down. And Amp 2 was like this spiritual successor to 1080. 1080 snowboarding, which is my second favorite snowboarding game ever. Well, it's skate. It's not skateboard. Okay, those are snowboarding, not skateboards. So I guess Tony Hawk 3 would be my favorite skateboard game. I wanted to like skate. I love the idea of it, but that's snowboarding. I got it mixed up in my head. Mike, you there? Can you hear me? I want to end this. I'm gonna give him.
Yo.
All right, I want to end this. I want to get out of this.
Okay.
All right, say goodbye. Say everyone where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on DeviantArt for now, and I'll change things up, and he can add them to the doobly-doo. But it was nice talking to everybody, so have a good night.
Welcome to. Thank you for hanging out with the Copic color guy.
That's how you do Copics.
God, so much fun. I'll solve this one, people. I'm out of here. Peace. Oh,
Again.
SketchCraft. The struggle is real.